Okay, recording has started.
Can I start now?
Yes, yes.
Hello, Toastmasters and guests. Because I can't see all of you, could you just put in the chat or give a thumbs up if you have done a general evaluation, language evaluation, or table topic evaluation? Seems like only a few of you have done it. So the rest of you, do you want to learn how to do it? This is when you must put all these thumbs up, Otherwise, I don't know whom I'm speaking to. Some people have not even turned on their video. All right. Okay, for those of you who are not ready to do it, you will be ready by the time I finish this workshop. When you evaluate, are you a motivator? What is a motivator? I come to table topic session. I tell our TTM, I cannot speak. I still new. And then our TTM tells him, you can do it because once upon a time, not very far away, only a few years ago, I was like you. The speaker is motivated, and then he starts speaking. That's a motivator. What's a facilitator? A facilitator is something like a mentor. He's like a catalyst. He's there to help the speaker become better, but he empowers the speaker. So if the speaker comes to say, I have to talk about myself for my icebreaker, but I don't know what to talk about. He doesn't come and tell him to talk about A, B, C. Instead, he asks, what are your interests? What is your family background? What is your hobbies? What is your childhood like? Is there something from all these areas that you can share? Oh, of course, I can share. And then he will say, go ahead. The third one is a counselor is even more interesting because some people come with their own personal baggage. Maybe when they were young, they had a situation where they were traumatized or they are very fearful of talking to people, of talking in front of people. That's why they like to hide behind the camera on virtual. Or even when they come into an actual meeting, they will sit behind. Have you noticed that when you go to workshops, there are a lot of people like to sit behind? People don't like to sit in front. No? They're scared that the trainer or facilitator will call them. Actually, when I do a workshop, I'll call those who are sitting behind. Because I don't want people to hide. You come here to learn. We came here to learn, right? We all said, I want to improve my public speaking skills. Why are you afraid? We are here all over the world, from Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia today, and perhaps India later, to help you become a better person, better speaker. So you move on. What is the purpose of motivation? The key word is self-esteem. Make sure that you help them to grow personally. Be genuine, no whitewashing. If the person's speech does not meet the objective, be frank enough, bold enough, and good enough to share with him or her. Recognize their strengths, look at areas for improvement, create a climate for motivation. We are here motivate, not to judge. Which means if you don't agree with the topic or the message given by the speaker, we dispense us belief, we do not judge. We just look at whether the speech was persuasive enough, entertaining enough, informative enough, and did it fulfill the project objective. In short, we provide positive direction. Let's now look at general evaluation. General evaluation is evaluation done for a club. For example, if I come the next time to Miri and Jasmine says, Kumar, can you evaluate my club meeting? Then I will do that. So there is a checklist at Toastmasters International. There is a checklist at Toastmasters International. You just take that checklist and you follow. Because we are moving more and more towards physical meetings, here are some of the things you have to look at. Before the meeting, was the room and equipment set up on time? Were the guests welcome? upon arrival, guests informed about Toastmasters and the meeting format. Even for a virtual meeting, you have looked at were guests welcomed and were they informed about the Toastmasters and the meeting format. When the meeting is going on, was the presiding officer, or sometimes you use the silent prepared and organized. In other words, does he have an introduction to introduce the Toastmaster of the day and sometimes the president? Did the meeting start on time? If they say they start at 8, did they start at 8 or did they delay? Was there a delay? Was everyone properly introduced? Was the Toastmaster of the day properly introduced? Right? Then we go to the Toastmaster of the day. Did he share the different roles? Did he ensure every role has been filled up? And did he introduce, I'm sorry, I can't see the last word. I think he's general evaluator. Because in some countries, the general evaluator takes over the second portion of the evaluation. Then did the general evaluator introduce the grammarian? And did the grammarian introduce the word of the day? And how much time was given? Was the word of the day challenging? Did the general evaluator introduce the timer prepared, and did they introduce the rules within the allocated time? Did the generator properly introduce the R counter and so on? You can see one whole checklist, right? So you just tick, 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 tick your comments below. For example, I just give an example. Forgot to introduce the grammarian. Sometimes it happens, right? They forget to introduce the grammarian and later grammarian, oh yeah, now you're supposed to introduce the grammarian and then the grammarian or language relator gives the word of the day, correct? Then the table topics master, here they put it as topics master. Was the purpose and timing of the table topics properly explained? Were the topics appropriate and fit the meeting theme? Did the table topic master call on people who didn't have a meeting role first during table topics? That's an important line. Sometimes you see, the table topic master will call everybody, language evaluator, grammarian, speakers, evaluators, but won't call the timer, our counter, all those people who don't have a chance to speak, and the guests. So all these things are what you need to look at. So in some countries, the general evaluator is what is known as a tag team, right? Which is the timer, counter, and grammarian, and sometimes even the table topics evaluator and other rules. So some don't have it, so it depends on what is the format of your club. The main job is to review and assess the club's meeting and report their findings. It is something like a self-check. We get an external person to come and give a review of how the meeting is conducted, look at areas where we can improve and become a better club. So helping individuals, there could be pointers left out by the project evaluators or the grammarian. These are areas which the general evaluator can cover. In other words, they fill up the gap. So there are different roles, and each of the roles are here. I won't go through it because later I'll be sharing this slide with Jasmine. And this is important. Huh? Now, sometimes the speaker would have said a wonderful speech, delivered a wonderful speech, but it is not according to the objectives of the Pathways project. Nevertheless, the evaluator, being very kind-hearted, will say, "You did a wonderful project. I like your delivery. I like your content. I like your message and all that." This is where the general evaluator steps in and says, "Yes, your speech was amazing. The delivery was superb. Content and the message is wonderful. However, the evaluator, when you say evaluator, however, the project objective was A. Unfortunately, you did not talk about certain portions. These are missing. These are areas that are missing in your speech." So this is where the general evaluator comes in to fill up the gap. And even if an evaluator, some evaluators think they're the king or queen, and they will give comments that can be very, very detrimental to the speaker. Your speech was good, but I think you should have done this way and that way. As you know, all evaluators have. Sorry, I saw a message from Jasmine.
No. This one is just ask them to change the name.
Okay. So sometimes they give feedback, and then something is missing, and you as a general evaluator, because you're more experienced, you notice that other areas that the speaker has done well, or there are areas that the evaluators forgot to point out. Because 5 different people can look at the same thing differently, right? You just look at your fingers, there are 5 there. Are they all different? In the same way, 5 different people from different races, different countries, different cultures can look at the same issue differently. That's why sometimes the general editor can come and say, there are other areas you can look at, there are other ways you can do the project. So that will help the speaker and the evaluator become better than what they are now. Right? In conclusion, the goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better tomorrow. If yesterday you just started project 1 and today you are doing level 2, that's already an improvement. Take away yesterday, let's say 1 year ago, or even 10 years ago, you did your first speech. Today you're doing your second speech. Isn't that an improvement? In short, you look at the improvement, how they've improved. Everyone who joins Toastmasters will improve as long as they put in the time and effort. It's not a miracle. It's not like the roof opens up and the coin drops in. It's all hard work, practice, 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 till you have become perfect. If you have climbed Mount Kinabalu, then maybe you want to climb Mount Everest. Then if you climbed Mount Everest, maybe you want to look for another mountain on another planet or the moon and climb. So there are always mountains to climb, goals to achieve. So these are the resources where you can get all the information about evaluation. Everything that is with the underline is actually a hyperlink. So general evaluation is looking at everything about the club. Time is started, how it continued, how it ended. So they will even take down the time it started and ended. And next we move on to the role of the grammarian or language evaluator, which to some people might seem like a very, very difficult thing, because there's this misconception that you must be a English professor. It's not necessary. Nowhere in Toastmasters does it say that you have to be a master's or a PhD in English. What it says is you must have sufficient knowledge of the English language to share these things. And what are they? Look at this content. Word of the day, phrase of the day, idiom of the day. What you need to do before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting. Who can be the grammarian or language evaluator? Anyone who's confident, who has a love for the language, who's familiar with figures of speech or literary devices. Here are tips for word of the day, phrase of the day, or idiom of the day. Take simple words that instill, inspire, and infuse positivity. Let's just look at the word infuse. It's a very simple word, right? 6 letters. Just find out the meaning of that word from an online dictionary. They would have given you some examples. Come with your own local examples, and then that's it. Make it visible throughout the meeting. In other words, if it's a virtual meeting, put that word of the day next to your name. It's okay. You are not very important this time because the word of the day is more important than you. So as the grammarian, you can put a word of the day instead of your name. That will be in the mind of everyone. If you're a meeting, make sure you put it in front of the podium and behind, because sometimes you are facing the crowd. So you can't see the word of the day because it's behind you. So if you have it at the other end, From where you're standing, you look at the audience, you can see the word of the day and you can speak. On the other hand, the people who are looking at the whiteboard or the screen, they can see the word of the day because it's also there. This way, we can ensure optimal use of the word. As the grammarian, take note of how often it is used and who has used it. So later, you give the grammarian report where the word of the day was spoken so many times by A, B, C. You can also choose a suitable word of the day or phrase or idiom of the day that is easy to remember. And the Toastmaster of the day or evening should repeat these at each segment of the meeting, meaning before the speeches, before the table topic, before the evaluation, to reiterate the importance of the word of the day. During the meeting, say make sure it is visible, and there's also a checklist for this which you can use and share some of the literary devices. A simple literary device is alliteration, repetition of sounds. For example, listen to this. I'll say it twice. I saw the slimy snake slithering across the grass. I saw the slimy snake slithering across the grass. Can you hear the sound of? So there's alliteration and there's also a sound of the snake, which is known as onomatopoeia. After the meeting, send a report to the VP or club president of how the language evaluation was done. It's important because the club will know which areas they've done well and how they can do better, which means that the language evaluator has to be on his or toe and take notes every time, prepare a PowerPoint, and then send it later. I can tell you after that, the club will call you. Same for career evaluator. The club will definitely call you to take on this role because very few people do it. Next, we come to table topics evaluation. How to be a table topics evaluator. Find out the theme from the Toastmaster of the day or the table topic master. How does he choose the topics? How does the table topic master choose the topics? Using strong titles, quotations, pictures, or focus on techniques? Today's table topic master is going to share techniques. I already asked him how he presented them. Is he using a wheel of names, or does he announce the titles, or does he call for volunteers? What is the process of doing it? The aim is to ensure we relax members, let them know that there's no right or wrong answer, to share with them that they could avoid anything that is about sex, language, race, or politics, or any topic that is sensitive. Sometimes in that country, that is a taboo language, not forbidden. Forbidden, not allowed to be spoken about. Our aim as a table topic master is to encourage them to speak well and become better. But table topic master has the role of a motivator. What to include in recommendation or commendation? As a table topic evaluation, you will say what went well and what can be improved. What went well and what can be improved. Show or demonstrate how it can be improved. And we don't judge. Whenever you say you don't have vocal variety, so what do you mean by vocal variety? At this point, you could have added emotion. You were happy, so you can speak fast, loud, excited. At this moment, you were sad. You can slow down. You can lower the tone of your voice to give that seriousness, that somberness, that sadness. So this is how you demonstrate. What to evaluate? Look at the structure, content, storyline. Did the speaker talk on the point, or was he or she off tangent? Was there a structure, or was it like shooting arrows aimlessly? Was the speech different from others? In a contest, The table topic speaker who speaks differently always wins. How did the speaker use body language? This is for physical meetings, vocal variety, and supporting material makes his or her stand. Statistics, facts and figures and examples are very, very important to support every statement that we say. Let us look at the two differences between table topics evaluation and speech evaluation. Table topics, the key question you ask is that how many techniques was used or was there a technique used? Prepared speech, does the speech fulfill the objective of the speech? Table topics, you wish to encourage them to overcome their fear and become more confident in tackling table topics. Normally, these are speakers who are just starting to speak. So they will start by handling table topics before they go into the speech. Whereas for speech, you want to make sure that they stick to the objective and master the proficiency of that pathway. If I'm doing a path on strategic relationship, then by the fifth and last project, I must be proficient in that pathway. That is the aim. That is why we look at the objective to ensure speaker fulfills the objective. Table topics, you learn to think on your feet, to speak impromptu, to speak under fire. Now, if I ask Toastmaster Kalpana and I give her a topic and she's ready to speak, that means she's learning to think on her feet. If I call our speaker from Bintulu Speakers Club, Michael, let's say there's a crisis situation that happened in the club. The club meeting was going on and suddenly there was a fire. So I come as a real supervisor. Where did the fire start? Where were you? Were you stopping the fire? Were you starting the fire? No, I just bombard him with a lot of questions because he has been a Toastmaster and taken part in the table topic session. He knows how to answer, how to calm down, cool down, and handle it in stylo milo fashion. So this is what we learn. Whereas in speech, we learn to write speeches, prepare the speech according to objective. And there is a very specific outcome that we need to look at. Moving on, how much time should the table topics evaluator take for each speaker? Depending on how many topics are given, if there's only 5, you can take 2 minutes each. If there are 2 table topic evaluators, let's say one looks at content and another at delivery, each of you should take 1 minute to look at the different area. It's good if to experiment with such Toastmasters because one will focus only on delivery, another will only focus on content. That way, you get more from the evaluator. If it's a 45 minutes to a 1 hour segment, you may consider having 1 minute each for content, 1 for language, and 1 for delivery. Content is about how they start, how they ended, what was the message. Delivery, you know, vocal variety, body language, these things. And language, that's different. That's how they make use of words. How did they optimize the power of words? So when you have 3 and you have a long segment of table topic, let's say you have a table topic marathon, which I did in 2021, August 2021, with 6 different countries. I think Toastmaster Cheryl is there. She was one of those organizers with me. So we were able to do it. So we had 2 table topic masters. We had 5 speeches, table topics, and then evaluation. Next 5, another table topic evaluator. So there was another way of doing it. Before I go to all or what is coming next, I'm just going to ask everyone if you have any question. Unfortunately, when I changed the format to the advanced format where my face appears in one corner, the slide that shows, do you have any question disappeared. That's why you see me talking continuously because I was waiting for the slide, but it didn't appear. However, now you can ask me any question, and then After about 5 minutes, I'll go on to the bonus that I want to share with all of you. Just have to raise your hand, or you turn on your video and ask a question. I would need.
Hi,
if
sir.
possible,
My name is Sachin. I'm from India.
Okay.
Say again.
Hi, sir. My name is Sachin. I'm from India.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So thanks for the clarification. I have just one question. While giving the feedback, can we name the person like who has committed errors in grammar, or we just have to give like the corrections or feedback without naming the person?
This is for what? When you are a grammarian, is it, or general evaluator?
Both as a grammarian or evaluator.
For project speech, you will always say, there is my target speaker, Jasmine. You already mentioned the name already. So whatever you feedback you give, the speaker already knows. But when you're doing general evaluation or grammarian role, language evaluation, when they do something good, say their name. When they've done something that is short of that, don't mention the name. Just say one speaker said this, which is incorrect. The correct way is that, because they will know. I will know if I made a mistake, because when you mention the word, I know, oh, you're talking about me. You don't need to publicly, how should I say, shame them. Not necessary. It was not much. You will not win friends that way.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other question?
Can I just ask, just me here, if suppose now we evaluate on somebody who is more senior than us or who are better than us, how are we going to do the evaluation?
Why do you always think that they are better than you?
Because they can speak very well.
Not everybody has all the skills, right? Now, have you heard of a mosquito? Right? How big is a mosquito?
Very small.
So Dalai Lama said that if you think you are insignificant or not important, try sleeping next to a mosquito. You will think you are nothing special, try sleeping next to a mosquito. And then you will realize the power of a mosquito. It's not size that matters, right? Coronavirus is a very small virus, but see what it did to most the whole world, in fact, maybe except Antarctica. Never underestimate, overestimate. When once I had a speaker who said, I don't want to evaluate you because you're a DTM. I said, no, you are not evaluating me, evaluating my speech. I'm good on that day. I can also be lousy on that day. You look at the objective, see whether I fulfill the objective. That's why if you look at the evaluation form for projects, there's two columns, The first one is what you did well, what you can do better, get yourself right. And below there is a scale of 1 to 5. Some evaluators don't do the second part, You're supposed to look and write there body language, what point you want to give. So when you write there, I can't see any body language because you're doing virtually, you just put like a stone and stone. So you can give the comments there. Vocal variety, sometimes you followed your word. Then you give examples. So everything you start practicing, you ask Mr. Lai, was he born a DTM? No, right? He is born as a distinguished Toastmaster, right? It's as you practice, as Stephen Covey says, sharpen the saw, sharpen your skills. By coming to this educational section, you're already sharpening the saw. So equipping yourself to become better. When I share the slide with Jasmine and you take a look at it at your own time, look at the links, you will realize, I can do general evaluation, I can do general language. Of course, you will not be perfect. You started doing it, then you will learn new techniques. That's one Toastmaster who came to my club. I told him, you come and do as a language evaluation. He did. After that, he did his own research, and then he come with literary devices. So he will say, today this person said the word, I came, I saw, I conquered. What is that? And the audience say, oh, that is anaphora. Like that. So you develop your skills. Then you can Google and look for figures of speech, literary devices, then you know all the different examples, you become an expert. And you know what they say about expert, right? An expert who discovers he knows more and more. No. He knows less and less about things. Because even now, there are many species of insects, flowers, plants that are still being discovered. So there's no such thing as permanently good. Have you noticed at contest speeches, this speaker who spoke very well this time lost? Why? On that day, they were not the best.
Hmm.
Any other question about language evaluation?
I think language is everybody are very scared because we
You
maybe
watch my
we can
videos, later I share with you my videos. You watch the video, then you will get ideas. Watch
okay.
and learn from others. Even people who are native speakers of the language are not as good as you think they are.
Hmm.
All about how much effort you put into for speeches, for delivery, and so on. For table topic evaluation, maybe you're not clear, but later you will see me evaluating Toastmaster, Distinguished Toastmaster Live, and the table topic masters, and then you will get an idea from that how you can actually give feedback to table topic speakers. Now, because I think we still have time, right? I'll share with you the bonus. What is the bonus? If you look at most people, when they do evaluation, there's only one technique. It's known as the hamburger technique. Say the good thing, say the thing that they can do better, and then praise them. That's only one of the techniques. There are other techniques. And what are those techniques? That's what you're going to see now in a moment. Meanwhile, if you have any question and you are too shy to talk, you can wait. Sorry, you can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah. My problem about impromptu speeches is how to keep them relevant. How to keep my speech relevant to the topic. That's my worry.
You have to look at your speech. I can't answer you immediately because I need to know the objective. Without knowing the objective of the speech, it's very challenging for me to say.
No, I'm talking about impromptu, yeah? Impromptu speaking.
You are very fortunate today because our master table topic master today is going to share 6 techniques with you. Not one, 6. And you can learn from him.
Okay, all right.
Speech evaluation is about giving feedback. So there are many techniques. First is known as ANSVA. This is for a persuasive speech. First of all, did they get your attention? Let's say I talk about a topic. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that the only creature that can outlast man is a cockroach? See, I got your attention, right? When you say cockroach, say, what is this man talking about cockroach? Then I explain. Then I go on. So that is one way of doing it. But this one is more where you need to get buy-in from them. So you will start with the attention, then you'll create the need, and then give a solution, make them visualize, and then call for action. So this is ANSVA. The next one is content organization delivery. Very simple, right? This is what is in most features, informative features. As the content and the way it is structured, and then the delivery. It's a very easy way for us to capture and give feedback. Followed by the give, which is inform them of the good things that they've done, how they can improve this fine tuning, inform them what they did well, and then thank them. So this is the give. Constructive advice on specific suggestions for improvement. Next is the glove. Gestures, language, organization, voice, and enthusiasm. So this one is on speech quality and delivery. Then another way, what I heard, what I saw, what I felt. This is probably for speeches that have a story there. So it's about how the speaker evoked your feelings. At the end of it, were you feeling like crying? Were you brought to a different world where you become extremely happy? So this is about what you heard from them, what you saw, what you felt. It can be normally the international speeches have these elements, They'll bring you on a roller coaster ride full of emotions, and then they'll come to a resolution. So at the end of the speech, it's like watching a movie. You feel very wonderful. So this will be very helpful if you use it for speeches that are motivational, inspirational. The next one, the pie, is about looking at the positive things, improvement, encouragement, and then summarizing. This is what you should use in contest. In every contest, evaluation contest, if the speaker speech is not summarized by the evaluator, if the evaluator does not summarize the speech of the speaker, they lose 15 points. Hence, it's very crucial to understand and to practice giving a summary of the evaluation. Next one is post. Positive, objective, suggestions, and encouragement. This is an evaluation centered on the objective. So you spoke well, there was vocal variety, there was body language, areas to improve, right? However, you look at the objective. The objective of this speech was for you to tell a story. But instead of telling a story, you shared a list of facts. You string together a list of facts. Perhaps you can look at what are the elements of a story and bring it in. There should be different characters. There should be a conflict, a resolution. There should be different characters. Therefore, each character should have a voice of your own. So you can use your voice to have a high tone, low tone, bring out the two different characters. Then it should be animated. So these are suggestions you're giving, on the area the speaker fell short of. And finally, as I said, the sandwich is the most easiest technique to use. You say the positive, you look at the areas to improve, and then you say the positive again. And it's always used. Moving on, here are the different forms. Basically, they look at the strengths and the areas for improvement. So if you have a form like this, and you carry it with you, excuse me, at every meeting, then it's easier. You already have a format, you know what to write. You just have to look at vocal variety. Okay, voice, very bold, loud voice. Suggestions for improvement, unnecessary. Let's say you look at enthusiasm, missing. The speaker seems very tired today, or not passionate enough. Gestures, more can be added. Facial expressions, eye movement. Was the speaker looking at the audience when they're speaking, or were they looking somewhere else? So these are areas we can look at. And that's it. I've covered everything. Can I check with the timer? Am I still within time? How much time do I have left?
It's 39 minutes.
40 minutes. So I'm on the
Yes.
green light ready, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now it's time for you to ask me questions. The more you ask, the better for you, because then I'm also put to the test, No point having a title called DTM and then people don't ask you questions, don't challenge you.
Yeah, can I ask a question here? I'm Hardeep from Lecture Masters.
Are you able to turn on your video?
Oh, sorry.
I find very strange talking to individual people.
Okay. Okay, my question is when you have a table topic or any impromptu, when they give you a question where you have two answers to choose from. Example, what is your opinion on, say, jogging? So you can say positive and negative. So do you take one or can you take both?
Actually, Mr. Lai, are you going to cover this later?
Yes.
So he will give the answer because I shouldn't overlap. I shouldn't, how do they say, take away the thunder from him. That's what he's supposed to do, and I'm supposed to see whether he does a good job of that. Right? But let me just put a question to you because I believe in making people think. Do you think you will have enough content if you only spoke on one side to last for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes?
Yeah, I agree with you, but I've been when I take the two side of it and then I see which I choose or I take the both side, they were evaluators or normally evaluators will say only take on one side, don't go on two side. So I'm a bit on a fix there now.
Maybe Toastmaster Lai can shed more light on this later. Then when I do the evaluation, I can also come in. Just do me a favor, put this question again in the chat later. Right? Anyone? Terence, I see you smiling.
PTM Brahma Kumar.
Yeah.
I have a question. On the evaluator, there is a three type. I think one is general evaluator, TTE, and speech evaluator. Among these three evaluator, which one is the most challenging one?
It's all in your mind, what? Right? What? Let me ask you, what is your hobby?
Hobby, swimming.
Yeah, so swimming got freestyle, butterfly, breaststroke, right? And then the others, right? Each of them got your strengths and their weakness, right? So it's a
Yep.
matter of which one you are practicing more. Of course, the easiest one is because project evaluation. You are just looking at the objective and the speaker. Sometimes we know the speaker well enough to know their character and their strengths and their weakness to listen. When you go to the general evaluation, you need to understand the club culture because different clubs are different. The room, if it's a very small room, it cannot make big gestures, by large gestures. And then if it's virtual, practically on virtual, body language is not very visible. Because sometimes you have this virtual background, you say, I do like that, my hand disappears. And so there's some challenges, right? So general evaluation, you look at different areas. So you have to start observing whenever you go to a club meeting, what time they start, what time they end. See the table topic master introduce these, see the role players share their roles. Today's meeting, everybody share their roles, right? Right from the beginning. So you can see it's all positive. But if you go to some club and then, okay, next the timer will do his job, and then you don't know who is timer, what is that? I come to first time to a Toastmaster club, I don't even know what's happening. So if that happens, then that's something we shouldn't have. We should need to address it. So general evaluation is the next step. The third step is language evaluation. Because language evaluation, I just cannot look at the word of the day and say how many times you said and go off. I must look at some pronunciation, provided my pronunciation is good enough. The other thing is the literary devices, the figures of speech. So I got to go and do research and then have some examples. So today, as I was talking, I used the word, I shall not steal the thunder from him. What do you think that is? What literary device is that? I need to answer, just think about it. So that's a literary device, right? So if you know what it is, you can tell the people. A speaker, you don't steal the thunder from another person, which is a good use of this literary device. It's actually a metaphor. I think it's also a proverb. Metaphor is when something stands in place of something else. I bled, BLED, buckets of tears. That is a metaphor to say that my crying was like blood coming out of the eyes, to show the emotion, the sadness. When you use the word, he cried like a baby. When you use the word like, it is a simile. He is as stupid as a whatever. Again, it's a simile. So once you know all these, then you can start sharing that. The more we build up our knowledge of literary devices or figures of speech, the more we can share. There are a lot on the internet that you can go and Google, and if you go to the library and you find some books on English language and talk about these things, photostat that, write down, and then you have knowledge. So you can start from project evaluation, career evaluation, and then language evaluation. Table topic evaluation is also easy. Of course, I can't tell you what it is until you see me do it. Then you will know it is not so difficult. The only thing you have to be very, very much on your toes. You got to be very observant. And that comes only when you visit a lot of clubs and you go many times to do the same. Any other question? How about our Toastmaster from Indonesia, Toastmaster Titin? Selamat
So
petang.
far, so good. DTM Brahma, thank you for your insightful sharing.
Any question to ask?
One more question. How about your advice for the first time? Let's say I'm going to do the GE. What is your advice? What to prepare? I mean before the
To
meeting.
ask you a question, who is your mentor?
I do not have. I do not have mentor.
That's the issue with many Toastmasters. If you don't have a mentor, who's going to guide you?
We can only ask from those who are more experienced. Yep.
I'll be very honest with you. You can't find a mentor, you can ask him to be your mentor. I mentor a lot of people. It's sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 5 years, sometimes it's just a call and ask something and I share with them. I have no hiccups about sharing information with people because I want everyone to become better. In fact, if you can become a 4-time or 5-time or 100 times TTM, I'm more than happy because it has shown that you have grown. Because whether you think it's selfish or not, tomorrow you will turn around and say, this man is the one who made me what I am. It has happened. When certain people become better than me, they say, he is the one who did this to me. He is the one. And I say, what did I do? I can't even remember. Because we are not interested. I'm not interested in whether you become better than me or not. All I want you is to improve from stage 1 to stage 2. That's why I'm sharing. And if you notice, I've never charged for any of the workshops I do. I have a lot of information that I share. I have over 260, in fact, videos on many, many different aspects. And the reason why I have so many is that if you're short of an idea, you don't watch my video, you will get an idea. In fact, it is not enough. There should be more. I'm actually requesting everyone that I know who can speak confidently to produce a video. Because the more you share yourself on global platforms, the more you are creating an awareness. There's this thing called branding. Why some of these people like Simon Sinek are so popular is they are very good at doing personal branding. You are a brand yourself. So when next time people say Michael Fun, there's a certain brand, they say, he's good at this, he's doing good at that. And then you create a market for yourself. And you're also a representative of Toastmasters International. I recently had the opportunity to evaluate Richard Peck, the international past president. And he said that was a very good evaluation. That's good enough for me. I don't need to get another title from him. But the fact that international past international president of Toastmasters International say that my evaluation was good, is good enough for me. All right. So my question to all of you is that if you don't have a mentor, look for a mentor. Lai is quite a good mentor. Titin is a good mentor. I'm sure there are others in your own country. If you really cannot find anybody, look for me. I can guide you. But please understand that I also have my personal life, my family life, and I have other people to help. So I cannot be helping 24 hours. Don't call me in the middle of the night and ask for help on all that. So look at reasonable time and how much I can help you. After that is one. I do not help you in the way like spoon feed you. I will ask you question. I will challenge you. I will make you be your own master. My role is to empower you to become better. It is not to breastfeed you. That will never work. If you teach a person to fish, he knows how to fish for life. He has a livelihood. If you buy the fish and give him, you are not helping him. You think you are helping, but you're not. Any other question? Rajesh is there. Rajesh, do you have any question? Mr. Sanusi is there. Satyawan, do you have any question? We can't hear you, Rajesh.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to join in the beginning itself, but I couldn't make it. I think I could join 2 minutes back when you were
They
sharing
will-
the slides.
They are
It was
recording
good.
it. They will post it on their Facebook. Later they will share
Sure,
them.
sure. I will go through that.
You have any
Thank you.
question on general evaluation, language evaluation, or table topic evaluation, or evaluation in general?
I have a question regarding the evaluation, the speech evaluation. When we see the speech, when we observe the speech, all seems to be good. At the end of the speech, most of the times we tend to forget. Sometimes we have to recall the phrases what's spoken by the speaker, or any particular good sentences what's spoken by the speaker. We could not recall that particular one. How to overcome this?
So that's why you see here, let's, for example, I'm using the glove technique. I have this form here. So I write down, okay, I look at the gestures, I write down eye contact, good hand movement, good facial expressions. And I give some examples here and there. Then for language also, I write what are the areas they didn't do well, what they did well. So like that, you write so many, but because we have only 3 minutes and a half, you can't say all. You choose 3 important ones or 2 and just elaborate on it.
Okay.
Okay, the last question, because the red light has touched. Oh, it's time's up.
Actually, we have 10 minutes. 10 minutes for the Q&A. We can continue another 10 minutes. This one is for your speech.
Yeah, but I already went into the Q&A already, so you can remove
Yeah,
that.
I think, yeah.
Can I ask you when we want to do the general evaluation, is it necessary to evaluate on the speakers? On the evaluators?
And you look at the culture of the club by asking the club president. Because some clubs, different clubs have different ways of evaluating. You ask the club president, can I give some feedback on the evaluators?
Where are you?
We're off screen already. Maybe got a call.
It's offspring. Wait.
Sorry, someone came into the room, so I had to turn off the video and sound for a while. Any other questions? There's a Duke. Tatekawa, do you have any question to ask?
No, as of now. Thank you.
Question is it? Can everyone turn on your videos? You just have a quick photo. Jasmine, could someone from your side take the photo, or you want me to take?
Apple, please. DT and
yeah.
Apple.
Okay, please turn on your video so we can have a photo session. Give me a second. Oh, I did a snapshot. Give me a second first. Okay, ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, let me check. All right, looks good. Okay, maybe Titin close eye. One more time. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay. So, Okay, all right, good. Oh, suddenly Bianca turns up. Okay, all right, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Good session.
Okay, final question before I close the.
Okay, can I ask a question? There's two questions actually. For evaluation in a club, do you evaluate based on contest method, or you just evaluate based on what do you call the good points, improvement, and suggestion, or what do you call recommendations? And another one is like when you have too many points when you take down. So in 3 minutes, how do you segregate which part that you should share and which part you should omit? Because if you share everything, you may end up going over time, or you may get jumbled up in between.
Okay, the first question about evaluation. In a contest, you are not evaluated, you are judged. You are judged. So you are not a judge there. You are there to motivate. Like I said, your evaluation, its purpose is to evaluate, to motivate. So don't judge. Evaluate them. See how they can become better. Second question about you have so many points, right? How much time are you giving for the general evaluation? If you're given 5 minutes and you have 50 points, just choose the important ones and you verbally say it. The rest you write in the report. Thus, I told you, right, you should give a report to the club, right? Evaluation report or general evaluation report or language evaluation report. In the report, you can be more lengthy.
No, sorry, sir. My question was for speech evaluator.
Speech evaluation, you cannot give 10 points in a speech. If I give 10 points, that means I'm speaking too fast. The speaker will not be able to absorb.
Okay.
If we look at the key areas that the person has done well, it is good to have a conversation with your speaker before you even do evaluation. This is something that many people don't do. You should find out what is the objective of the speech and then ask the evaluator which area you want me to focus on. So the speaker will give you the freedom. Say whatever you think I should improve. That means you can say as much as you can within 3.5 minutes. Again, because we have such a short time, what you say physically and what you write can be different. You can write more, but say less. So it depends on the comfort level between you and the speaker. Of course, normally when it's a DTM, they will give more comments or areas to improve. When it's a new speaker, you don't want to give so many advice because that person might get scared and run away. Not everybody is, even though they say, I want to improve my public speaking, I want to become a better speaker, not everybody is ready to accept a lot of the areas that they are weak in. This is something we have to understand. Even with children, right? You tell them the same thing many times, they still do the same mistake. So with adults, it's the same. So pick out the main one. What is the major one they're doing? If they're always talking and then they're doing these very distracting actions, focus on that. If they're talking in a very low, you know what I told Richard Peck was, you have a wonderful content, somber message, very beautifully crafted, but your voice is very monotonous. It's the same old tone. You need to add some power into it, change the tone, increase the volume at certain times, increase the speed at certain times, and all those things. It was basically on vocal variety that I spoke to him. And also body language was missing because he was just sitting like that and talking. There was no facial expression, meaning there was no change in the facial expressions. Eye contact was the same. Hand gestures was not evident. So all this doesn't make the speech very interesting, or exciting or captivating. Right. That's all I spoke on. The other areas were all very good. Because it's a DTM, I can go a bit further. I don't care whether he's the president of the country or Toastmasters International. My job as an evaluator is to give my feedback. It's not material to me. What is he, who is he, all that is not. My job is to do a proper job of evaluation according to the guidelines given by Toastmasters and the objectives of the speech. That's why in a contest, we judge. We don't care whether you were good yesterday or the day before, or whether you were the district champion 100 times. No. On that day, were you the best? If you're not, you're out. It's judging, it's not evaluating. You choose the one who is the best. But in club, we don't judge, we evaluate. We want to motivate them. If the club still keeps on doing the same thing over and over again, don't go to the club. Simple. Because they are not willing to improve themselves. Why should you or for the sake anyone else spend their precious time to go there? So if we go to a club and we find they're not serious about the whole thing, it's a waste of your time. They need to respect your time wherever you come from. But sometimes we go to countries that are different time zone. And, we put in the effort, right? Let's say it's at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm keeping awake until 2 a.m. So you need to give that fair bit. Sometimes I go to clubs and after my speech, the speaker disappears. How to give an evaluation when the speaker is not around, right? That's not fair to. So once I told the club president, I will not give the evaluation physically. I write it down, you give it to him, because that's not the way I work. Any other questions? Toastmaster Sanusi, if anything to share? He's a very experienced Toastmaster from Indonesia. You're muted. I cannot hear you. Can someone unmute Toastmaster Sanusi?
Actually, I think his audio is not connected.
Yeah, his audio is not connected.
Anyone has any other question? How about Sue? Do you have any question?
I don't have, because I have never tried evaluation.
So what time we start, huh? The best time is now. Okay, just for the fun of it. Is anyone here willing to do an evaluation of the table topics later? You can look at the content, I can look at the delivery. Anyone wants to try it out?
Well, I was about to ask you a philosophical question. Is that possible?
I'm not a philosopher, but I try my best.
So it's fascinating during offline, during online. My question to you, how you talk about club traditions and, how we've been implemented how to do things one way. For me personally, I'm a behavior specialist, and I've seen Toastmasters in the old days and nowadays, because in the offline days or during the legacy program, I understand that you have the structures, right? You have the thing that you have to follow. But nowadays, I don't really see the individuals developing, basically. So my question to you is, if such as now, evaluators, it becomes such a canned standard, my fear when they take it to the real life, so let's say they're evaluating their boss or their wife, they say, all in all, I love the way you delivered your point. So my philosophical question would be, how do you find individuality in the tradition or the current state of Toastmasters nowadays? Mr.
I'm not sure whether you have traveled to other countries, but there are some evaluators who are serious, extremely serious. For example, I don't want to mention the club, but there's a Toastmaster from a certain club in Singapore who says that we are very serious in the way we do things because we are all insurance agents. And in the real life, if you're not serious, you will lose your client. So we take the business of evaluation and speech delivery very seriously. So it all boils down to, what do you want to do? Are you here just for the fun of it, aimlessly? Then you can't improve. Whatever we do, we must have a goal. My goal now is to finish all the 11 pathways and complete my 4th PTM. So I keep on doing it. Sometimes some of my speeches are very disgraceful because I make a mess out of it. I wasn't prepared that day or I was too tired. I take the time to redo those projects again because I want to have a certain quality. And as you can see, if today's workshop, there's a lot of content that I have. These things don't come over time. I mean, overnight. They come because I put in the effort to read, to redo, to localize. Sometimes I take away certain slides. Sometimes I add in new ones. It's better of being the expert in your own field. And that's why I have actually been given, and I was actually been recognized as one of the 200 Tamils in Singapore in a book called 200 Tamils, Volume 2. And the main thing they put there is I'm a Toastmaster. Of course, my contribution was for English as well as for Tamil. So these things add up. If you look at a certain speaker and you look at their credentials, that's one thing. When they open their mouth, does the credentials and their experience and their expertise. If it doesn't do justice to them, then you wonder, how can they be that, right? That's the first thing that comes from me. But on the other hand, when we look at certain people like Simon Sinek and he says, for example, once there was a video he shared where he said, those people who always put their name down there, their email and all that, they are not there to help you. They are there to help themselves. He was speaking about leaders. Leaders who want to help others normally will not market themselves because that's not their intention to make money. Their intention is to develop you. So in the same way, as a Toastmaster, you all have to ask yourself every year when you start the new term, what do I want to do? What is my goal here? If you think you're not growing, perhaps you have to consider some other passion. In the same way as an evaluator, you have to do justice to the speaker. You find that there's no objective. Do you want to whitewash or you want to tell the facts? The same for clubs, You go to a certain club, they are not serious about anything. I just don't want to go to the club because I'm serious about what I'm doing. Why should I go to a club and then bluff to them? Wow, you did this good, you did that good. It doesn't serve any purpose. Then you have people coming around and say, what, you all call yourself Toastmasters, but then you all don't have the quality, you all don't fulfilling the objectives. Our reputation is at stake, Toastmasters' reputation is at stake. You will know how much you've improved when at the workplace, suddenly you're called to give a speech or give a comment and you deliver it beautifully, then they'll say, this guy's a Toastmaster, that's why he can speak so well. Once I was going for a training and I didn't take away my Zoom comment here, so I put down there my name and my DTM. The trainer came on the first thing, he said, wow, you got a DTM here. And everybody was wondering what is he talking about. Then he said, you know what is a DTM or not? That guy has delivered about 200 or 300 speeches and he has come to that highest level in Toastmasters. He is pretty good. In fact, maybe he should be giving the training. So for someone like that to say, that shows how important having that DTM title is there. Right? I think my time's up. I thank Toastmaster Jasmine and Miri Toastmasters Club. Give me the opportunity to share my knowledge and my experience. As I said earlier, an expert is one who know more and more about less and less. Because there's always endless things to learn and to relearn. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.